All right, so we've got two of them. We've got a 45-45 right triangle, and then we're going to have a 30-60 right triangle. Okay, now 45-45 right triangle, the legs should be equal. I'm going to try to draw this to scale, but it's really bad. All right, if those base angles are 45, then this side and this side has to be equal, because the side opposite those base angles, if the base angles match, then those sides that are opposite also has to match. Okay, that again from geometry. All right, so if these two sides are equal, then I could let them be denoted by an x and an x, or any variable. It wouldn't matter, but I can use an x. All right, and then for the formula that would be helpful if you memorized, in a 45-45 right triangle, that hypotenuse is x square root of 2. All right, so then that means if I know this side is 6, then this side is 6, and this is 6 square root of 2. If they give me the hypotenuse and they tell me it's 9 square root of 2, then that means the two legs have to be 9. Okay, so it works out really nice that way. Now let's do a 30-60 right triangle. Now that means that my two legs are not going to be the same length. One's clearly going to be longer than the other one, so this is my long side, which means that the angle opposite has got to be the bigger one, so there's got to be my 60, and then this side is the shorter leg, so across from its angle, that's got to be the 30. So this is a 30-60. All right, now you are going to have to memorize what the relationship of the sides are in a 30-60 right triangle. I always start with the smallest side. This is the smallest side of the triangle. It's across from 30. Across from 30, we're going to let that side be x. So if I know what that number is, then I can fill in the rest of the sides really easily. All right, the hypotenuse on the 45 has the radical. The hypotenuse on the 30-60 does not have the radical. That's how I remember it. So then I remember that my hypotenuse cannot have the radical. It has a 2 times x, and that's it. And then my side that has a radical in it has to be across from my 60, which is x square root of 3. Okay, and you just have to memorize this. This is on the formula sheet that I gave you. Okay, now let's just go through. I'll do like some really simple examples. All right, we'll do one down here of our 45-45. Okay, so I am going to try to draw it so that it's not drawn exactly like that. Let's flip it around. Again, not drawn to scale because I'm just randomly drawing this, but this side and this side is going to match. All right, so if I told you that the hypotenuse is, say, 9 square root of 2, all right, could you find the other two? Well, the hypotenuse in a 45-45, and I didn't mark it, but I did with these two sides. Let's say this is 45 and this is 45. All right, I know it's 45-45. My hypotenuse is x square root of 2, so 9 square root of 2, that means x is 9. So that means this side has to be 9 and this side has to be 9. Okay, so sometimes, depending on what numbers they give you and what sides they give you, this is a real straightforward type of thing. All right, let's do another easy one. Okay, let's suppose my right triangle was drawn like this, drawn the way I have. This has got to be the 30, this has got to be the 60, and then let's say that they give you the, well, let's do it this way. I can even go backwards. Let's say they give you this as 10. All right, so then the question is, what's this side, what's this side? Okay, now this one, a little bit harder than the one I actually did in the Google Meet. All right, the hypotenuse is 10, my hypotenuse is 2x. So 2 times what equals 10? 2 times 5 equals 10. In other words, that's like a nice little equation there. 2x equals 10, so x has to equal 5. So in this triangle right here, x is 5. Well, if I know x is 5, then the side across from the 30 is 5. And then across from the 60 would be 5 square root of 3. All right, so that one's a little bit more challenging because I had to figure out what x was. In the Google Meet, I had done it and given you the side across from the 60. Okay, but you have been doing some questions with these 30, 60, and 45-45 right triangles in Math Excel. All right, but I think in those you didn't have to implement these formulas. They just gave you the various sides. They gave you what the sides were and then asked you to answer the question from there. Okay, but you should be able to find missing sides of a 30-60 right triangle, also of a 45-45 right triangle.